Clever bandits just seem to stuck with us for the rest of them. What about you, my friend? First time?
First time.
How are you liking it so far?
Beautiful.
Not too shabby, eh? Nothing to complain about yet?
Nothing.
It does mean, and it's good essence, good health to you. It also means hello and thank you. Now, if anyone says kia ora to you, it is polite for you to say kia ora back to them. So kia ora.
Kia ora.
It is customary for me to greet you in my native tongue. No reira, nei mai haere mai ki Aotearoa, nei mai haere mai ki te puia, ki tōku nei haukoanga o te whakarewa-rewatanga o te ope tauwa a wāhia. Ko ai tēnei atu aki nei, ko kahi tā pika kara i tū taonga, ko au tō kai arihi mo tates tū. Hello. Hello and welcome to my home valley of te whakarewa-rewatanga o te ope tauwa a wāhia. My name is Kahi Tāpika Kara Utu Taonga, but you can call me Ko. Yeah, I'll be your host for tonight. What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to take you over to our hangi pit. From there, I'm going to teach you the name of the very long name of our valley that you're about to head into. Are you going down to the geysers after your cultural show? Yeah. Yes? Sweet. So I'll teach you the name of the valley before we
Nui.
Whare meaning house, nui meaning big. Okay, we're very unique when it comes to naming our things. Just like over here to my right hand side, we have our whare iti, whare meaning house, iti meaning small. Now, like I said, you will be entering into our house tonight, so I won't take the shine away from my cousin. He will explain our meeting house well. If you like. Can you smell that? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Excuse me. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you this about 2 or 3 times, and then you as a group are going to say it back to me. Now how does that sound? Okay. Now in our language we say our T's like a slight D, repeating after me. Te.
Te.
We also say our W and H is like a fifth sound, so don't worry when we say this word, we are not swearing. Waka.
Waka.
Yes. We also roll our R's. R, r.
Re.
Rewa, rewa.
Rewa.
Tanga.
Tanga.
Oti. Ote.
Ote.
Ope.
Ope.
Taiwa.
Taiwa.
Awahio.
Awahio.
Awesome. Now we'll do a little bit faster and you as a group are going to say it back to me. Okay? Te.
Te.
Waka.
Waka.
Rewa rewa.
Wara.
Tanga ote.
Ote.
Ope Taiwa.
Opatawa.
Awahio.
Awahia.
Are you ready?
No.
No? We'll give it a go, okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't hear you at the back there. Yeah. Nowadays we use the haka before we win the Rugby World Cup, yes, and also in our cultural dances that we perform for you tonight, for tonight's show. Now this person over here, Wahiao, he was a well-known chief in this tribe we're about to head into tonight. He was known to lead a great big haka of 500 warriors. The haka was so powerful that the steam rose off the ground, just like the geothermal valley we're about to see as well.
E oi te pū kora kora, e oi te mono mono, ko wai a humai nei, ko wai a hehengi mai nei, ko wara nei ko hoi, ko ātirangi e, i paki o te iti ki te tiare, ko pirihia te rahi ki te kachitara mea, me he pua nei mono mono te hau kutia, e huru, e pāra tau a pohia te kakara, e tahu ka puranga hia te pawapawa o hine titama. Ko wai a humai nei, ko wai a hehengi mai nei, wawara nei, ko hau.
A very warm welcome to each and every single one of you into our beautiful and very intricately carved meeting house hall, Te Aronui Yarua. Now with the completion of the Waikōrero or the speech of welcome, we have come to the conclusion of all formalities, thus welcoming the more fun and entertaining part of our culture performance for you all today. So I invite you all now to smile, to laugh, to even cry if you dare. But do not forget, loud and thunderous applause. You can do that now. āringa. Exception. Now, the word āringa in simple translation means action song. And in which you would have seen this unique or special movement here. The shaking and the quivering of the hand we call wiri. Want to give this a try? Apply to the bit flight patterns of native birds and insects and flies. Ooh. And making the wrists of our warriors supple and strong for the use of close hand-to-hand weapons. I'll take it. The team Victoria don't rock player to player one goal, folks. Don't drop a stick. Song and the serenading sound of Matua Dallas and Matua Anaha playing the guitar to hopefully give a better demonstration of these two implements here. Kia ora! Kia ora!
Haka.
Haka. Can we all try saying that? Haka. 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 Hukana. An act of defiance and intimidation with the hope that we could scare our enemy and no battle would have to take place. Now, folks, instead of seeing 5 or even 6 warriors performing the haka like you did tonight, in traditional times you could have seen 600 to 800 warriors performing the haka. But I believe our small contingent of warriors done quite an exceptional. I made it to come forth and present to you all ngā poiro. Definitely the most intricate of all our poi dances. Now, when you see all 4 poi in flight, this is made to depict the flight patterns of New Zealand's larger birds. To be specific, New Zealand's very rare white heron. Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora. to us. Shout out to Te Owai, and Danny, one of our students just over there to get seated.
Those ones have a bit too much mineral in it, and we don't use those. In scientific world, they say they're contaminated pools. So it's only the crystal clear prime pools that we are actually able to use and can drink. But you do need to acquire a taste for that water because it's very oily in some cases. And I guess it can be like drinking baby oil. Yeah, you don't want that. However, it's not as thick.
say that I can feel you here. Can you feel me here when I say I'm crazy about you, pretty woman?
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the living geothermal village of Te Whakarewarewa Tango o Te Ope Tāua Wāhiao. This is the full name of the village. It reads the words here. Ope Tāua a Wāhiao, War Party of Wāhiao. Wāhiao had a huge influence on this village, the valley, and the people that live here. The village is named after him. The people are named after him. The people of Ngāti Wāhiao. Ngāti simply meaning family of or descendant of Wāhiao. The ancestry meeting house is also named after him. Te Tupuna Whare o Wāhiao, the ancestral meeting house of Wāhiao. And there's a short driveway we're about to walk down on the other side of the bridge that also bears his name. So his influence, even today, is huge. The people have been living in this valley for just over 300 years. We've been inviting people like yourselves from all around the world. If you go back that far, it was very informal. not much has changed today. And what's unique about this village is that we're living on geothermal activity and using it on the safety of your house, under your roof. We still do outside, under the open skies, even in the dead of winter. So all of our cooking, cleaning, washing, bathing, healing is still done outside. The facilities have been upgraded slightly over the years, not much, probably not to your standards, but this is how we live, and that's what I'm going to share with you in the short time that we've all spent together in the village together today. So, my name is Michael. Any questions, you just hit me with them. Whare House, ancestral meeting house. It was carved in the name of Wahiao. And if you remember, he was the warrior chief from whom we all descend. Now we use it for tangihanga or funeral, hui o meeting, wānanga or seminar, whakangaho entertainment, weddings, birthday, family reunion. So what it does is it brings the people together, helps to keep them together as one big happy family. Mostly, not always. Ups and downs just like everybody else. And when we did, when you go back in time, this area that we're standing on now, directly in front of the house, is the courtyard of our marae, we call Marae Aotea. It belongs to the god of war, Tumatauenga. So it's tapu, it's sacred. This is where we settled our differences.
Sugar.
So that's probably for our little cafe. They're cooking the meal for. That'll be your meat, potato, and vegetables all in here.
Meat,
Close that now.
potato, and vegetables.
The lid gets very heavy because it takes on all the steam. Now, this is one form of cooking, as you see, we still use today. See the word in white on the sign just behind you there? It says pare kohuru. It means mine should be pare kohuru. However, whoever wrote the sign has a board that was too short and they left the last two off. Anyway, give us a break. The two is a cooking book. Oh, this is the best.
So how long you have to put it in the water?
5-10 minutes.
5-10 minutes. Oh.
Sweet corn here, which you're about to try very shortly, as well as our green leafy vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, silver beets, spinach, broccoli. Just place them in a muslin cloth bag like a cheesecloth or a mutton cloth. Tie a knot at the top, hold the knot, bend down beside the pool, then just dip it into the natural spring waters. 2 to 3, 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how crisp or how soggy you like your vegetables. Or to get something to do, we can tie it to a piece of twine, anchored to rock at the top of the stone wall, pop it in the pool, come back and pick it up later. Yep. The people, as I mentioned at the beginning of the tour, have been living here all of that time. It's strictly for cooking only. The one food item it doesn't like and won't accept is raw meat. If you attempt to cook raw meat in this hot spring, it will react violently. It will attempt to spit the meat out. Do you know why? It doesn't like the fat of the meat. It took a little while to work that out over the years. We finally got there. So we cook all of our red meat. You'll find, you'll stay there. In these tiny steam boxes, rather than just bring it itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mother Nature speaking to you. And what we do have for you, sweet corn cooked in the natural spring waters of pare kohuru. The minerals of which are very good for your health. So please, hop up and help yourself.
Three to 4 minutes.
That's how.
Yeah, the water is.
This one, I put my hand. It's like you're in the active oven.
Yeah. Wow. It tastes nice.
spring we've just come from, the cooking pool. The overflow of water comes down a very narrow wooden channel.
It's warm.
At the moment, it's in amongst all of the stem. Pohutu means eruption, explosion, the big splash. It can reach a height of up to 13 meters at its fullest height. But if you go back to the beginning of time, we actually had 35 geysers right through this little valley. Today we have 5. Those are the 2 most active. So if you can imagine 35 geysers playing at the same time, because that's all we can do today. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to catch up with the geysers at the end of the tour, just on a second platform, just in behind these trees in the foreground. We'll have a closer, wider view for you, and I'm hoping a lot clearer. That's constant, really never drops down to boiling point itself. The colours of water we have in the valley are blue, green and black. So all of the hot springs in the valley itself are different shades of blue, some have a tinge of green. We also have a black lake or Podi and a green lake, Rotorua Kanapanapa, up on the hills in the bush behind the village. And to the east of the village we have a hot lake we call Te Rotorua Tamaheke, a hot lake of the warrior chief Tamaheke. Now, this hot spring has always been used for cooking and for healing, not in that order. So, in 1982, somebody introduced health and safety into this country. What that meant was we had to fence all the hot springs, the mud pools, and the geysers. So if we were going to cook on the hot spring, you have to climb the fence to be able to cook your food. So we don't do that any longer, simply because you slip in, your life will come to a very quick end. So today, we simply use it for healing. Now, a bad example is always a cold, wet winter's day when the cloud cover is low. Steam in the valley, there's nowhere to escape.
Kapa haka is all the Maori arts, the waiata, the song, the haka, the poi, similar to what you saw last night. There's your ice cream shop on the left, everybody. We'll park safely to allow you off. Everybody's ready to just jump out right now.
Quick, otherwise the ice cream will disappear.
The lovely Jade shop is on your left hand side. They do actually have a carving studio in there which you may be lucky enough to see one of the carvers at work.
I think it's another hotel. Oh, I don't know. It might be an extension to the hospital.
They must give that land back to Te Arawa, to the tribe. So it's just a loan. It's for the benefit of everybody that lives here.
All right, team. Everybody who wants to get off, ice creams and lunches, and then walk back to the hotel. This is your stop, and then the rest of us will go back to the hotel.
Kiwi hatchery here in Rotorua. My name's Debbie. I'm going to be your guide for today. Just want to talk to you a little bit about this giant rock here. This is New Zealand greenstone or punamo. So it is jade that comes from New Zealand only. It's looked after by an iwi or a tribe called Ngāi Tahu, and they allow people to go to their rivers and streams down in the South Island to get these rocks to be turned into lovely pendants and earrings like you'll see on a lot of people around New Zealand. This one is on loan to us. She's 2 tons in weight. She's been around the world, I presume on her own personal aeroplane, and she goes around the world to promote New Zealand to people like yourselves to show how beautiful it is. Her name is Matawai, means look closely. I like looking at all the little dark flecks inside of her, and it's considered good luck to have your own piece of greenstone. So we normally give her a little bit of a touch just to hopefully wish her some good luck throughout the rest of the day. So we're just going to head on through to the building and start the rest of our tour. So come on through and follow me.
Yep.
birds as well. So about 1 every second. With our kiwi, only 50% of the eggs hatch because we have introduced mammalian predators to New Zealand. And so unfortunately only 50% of them hatch. And of the remaining 50% that do hatch, only 5% of them reach adulthood. Here at the hatchery, we hatch out around about 90 to 120 eggs annually, and our hatching success is over 90% success rate. Come on through well. So their wings for this one are around about this sort of size. They're completely useless to our kiwi bird because they are flightless. And defending their territory as well. Their bones are filled with marrow, so most birds, the flighted ones, have a honeycomb system, makes them to have marrow in their bones. So very similar to humans. Their body temperature is around about 38 degrees centigrade, whereas most birds are around about 40 to 42 degrees. And our female kiwi, which is over there, has 2 ovaries. So most birds will have a single ovary. Our kiwi female has 2. The only difference we can tell with our kiwi birds, our male has a slightly shorter, straighter bill, and our female has a longer, slightly fatter and more curved bill. So the same with our chicks. If our chicks hatch out, the only way we can tell the difference between them is by taking a DNA test, by taking some of their feathers, sending it off for testing, and then once that has been tested, we were able to figure out whether we've got a boy or a girl. Their beaks only start really developing their shape at around about a year old. And so it's only after about a year we can tell whether we've got a female or male just by looking at them. Their feathers are very fur-like, so they're very soft, downy feathers, and they feel like my cat's tummy, or rabbit fur, so very soft and very nice to touch. As you can see on this one here, he's got very sharp claws, very powerful feet. Any questions so far? No? All good. Feel free to ask me as many questions you like. I'm more than happy to answer them. So with our nocturnal birds,
That's surprising.
they actually have very
bigger
poor
than it is.
eyesight. So they've got very similar eyesight to you or I. So if we're put in the middle of a forest in the middle of the night without a cell phone or a torch, that's pretty much what our kiwi can see, which is very unusual for a nocturnal bird. But that's times the weight of that little one that I gave you to have a feel of. And our little spotted kiwi around about 1.3 kilos, so just over that 2.2 pound weight. So only a small kiwi, not very able to defend itself from those predators. We've got a tukawika as well, so that's down in the bottom of the South Island, and that one is often seen in the daytime on videos on Stewart Island. She likes to go out after she's laid those eggs, get some extra protein and pick up those sand fleas and sandhoppers from the beach. So she is sometimes seen out in the daytime. We've got around about 65,000 kiwi in New Zealand in total, so they are still endangered. So that's why we can no photos or videos to be taken when we go through this room and into our nocturnal house. We are looking after our kiwi. We are not a zoo, so we are liking to look after our kiwi as best as we possibly can.